So along with the cards that I bought, the Marvel cards, for $100 in this box, came a bunch of comic books. So I'm going to go through these comic books and see if I got a decent deal or not. So let's see what we've got here. Alright, so right off the top, I see a Marvel Fanfare with Hawkeye on it. So that's a pretty good one. Let's see here. So there's Marvel Fanfare. I wonder what else we got. We have a Deadpool. The -1. Those are those comics that they made. They did a bunch of -1s. Or negative ones, I guess people would probably want to say. In the late 90s, I think. Maybe like 97, 98, 99, somewhere in there. And it was like X-Force had one, and maybe like X-Man, and I think Generation X. And apparently Deadpool's got one too. And so I think it's kind of like an origin type of a thing, but done retroactively. So it's not... they didn't release that, obviously, before the Deadpool series, because here's the limited series of Deadpool. And it looks like the guy who had this box of comics before me was a Deadpool fan, because he's also got number 2, Deadpool against the Juggernaut. And that's the one that Siren, Banshee's daughter, was teamed up with him. I remember I had maybe an issue or 2 of these back then, in the early 90s. So I always kind of assumed Deadpool would be matched up with Siren in some way. Here's number 3. So I'm kind of surprised they haven't done something like that. I guess they'd have to introduce Siren, though, in the Marvel universe of some kind, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, to make that pair up. And there's issue 4. I think it was 4 out of 4, so looks like we've got all of those. So this guy was an early adopter of Deadpool, it looks like. And I think the character was a little bit wacky then, but like played it a little more straight than later. And then we've also got this Deadpool, the Circle Chase, which might even have been, I don't know if that was before the Juggernaut thing, or before that last series we looked at, or after. This one looks a little older for some reason. And here's number 2 of it, and there's Juggernaut and Black Tom, it looks like, on there. So that's the Circle Chase. That's number 2. This is in here. Hey, look, it's the Circle Chase. Number 3. Definitely Deadpool heavy in this box, it looks like. From what I can tell, it's mostly like late 80s, early 90s. Here's the Circle Chase number 4. So it looks like we've got, I think, complete series of these little Deadpool mini-series kind of things. That's kind of interesting. And then it looks like we move on to the Deadpool, I think like that was the normal series that started then in the kind of later 90s. So after those limited series, kind of like Wolverine, they did a limited series first and then started the actual comic. So that's number 4. This is number 6. And this is when Deadpool was still kind of getting his voice that we know today, but he just had a little more there, a little more of the goofiness. Then we jumped to 43, it looks like, in the same series. That one might be in the early 2000s, possibly. But I do see, might be it for the Deadpools. And now we switch over to Power Pack. Power Pack number 59, which I don't think I had yet. So that's 1990. So it looks like we're right in that zone of like 80s, 90s, and maybe super early 2000s. So let's see what else we've got here. A Captain America from 1990 as well, number 370. We've got, looks like it's spread out a little bit. Here's a Thor from 1987. Oh, here's another Captain America, but it's the second series of Captain America. So it starts again with the numbering. I think that was like the late 90s that kind of happened in. And here, this one doesn't have a bag and board, but this is X-Men number 41 with no adjectives. But this one is interesting because it's got the Fleer Ultra X-Men cards in it. A little pack of like 2 or 3 cards or something. I don't know if those had chase cards in them, remember? That's a little different. I don't know if I'll need that for my set. There's another one, similar case. It's Wolverine number 90, no bag or board, but it's must have been that time because they were handing out these packs of cards, these little promo packs. That'll be interesting to see. I've been kind of saving those just with my cards. Now here we've got a bagged and boarded Wolverine, number 88. And what else do we have? There's a Wolverine in a bag, and it's number 135, so we jump ahead a bit. But then we go back a bit, it looks like, and now we've got Marvel Comics Presents Wolverine. Back before he had his full series, they would do Marvel Comics Presents all the time. There's Wolverine and Wonder Man, maybe? Or maybe that's a different story, because they would do multiple stories, I think, in the Marvel Comics Presents. And here's the actual Wolverine comic, number 12. So I guess that would be... I guess maybe I should put that before number 88. I don't know. I'm not really putting these in order perfectly yet. Oh, and speaking of Wolverine, here's a Wolverine Acts of Vengeance kind of crossover thing from 1989. This is number 20, so this is the Wolverine series, though. So we'll throw that in there. And then we've got another Marvel Comics Presents. This one is The Man-Thing. So I don't know. I'm kind of making a mess of the order, I guess, but... So that's an older Marvel Comics Presents. This is much newer, number 164. And hey, there's 165. Another Man-Thing, Marvel Comics Presents. And 167. And let's see what else is in here. There is another Thor from 1990. Where did I put that other Thor? Down here somewhere. By Captain America, probably. There it is. Okay, so this is 425 from 1990. So it's a little bit later than that first Thor we pulled. And what do we got? The Trial of Moon Knight. 4-4. So I guess that's like a special mini-series. I guess it would be. I don't know where. I haven't really started collecting any kind of Moon Knight stuff, so I'll have to figure out how to organize that. I've been putting my comics in chronological order, as some of you know. So I'll have to figure out where that goes. And speaking of which, here's the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four no more, because they got killed by a Triceratops, and that was it. Last Fantastic Four ever. It's kind of ridiculous too. Imagine, like, in 1990, if you were so gullible you thought, oh, yep, that's how they got taken out. Triceratops just killed them. The end. It's number 345. It's not even a round number or any kind of key issue that I know of. But I don't know a lot about these. Most of my time spent with X-Men comics, so if anybody knows if any of these are good, then let me know. I know most of the 90s comics are not real super collectible, but there might be some interesting ones in here. I definitely saw some Spider-Man that could be interesting. But here's Iron Man, number 259, another 1990 issue. Seems like we've got a lot around that time period, 1990. Speaking of which, here's another 1990 that's 261 of Iron Man. Maybe I'll have to kind of fold those in chronologically around where my X-Men comics and Spider-Man and X-Force and all that kind of stuff are. Cloak and Dagger. So we got Cloak and Dagger. This one's number 14 from 1990 as well. So they must have gotten a lot of comics in 1990. Alright, then we go to Guardians of the Galaxy, number 11. 91, maybe? Yeah, looks like it. And then Guardians of the Galaxy number 2. And the Guardians of the Galaxy number 40. That's from 93. And we switch over, it looks like. This one doesn't have a board, just a bag, but it's the Avengers Spotlight on Dr. Druid. And then we've got another Avengers related comic, The Crossing Line, Avengers 322 from 1990 as well. Still a lot of 1990 showing up here. Here's the Avengers Crossing Line, number 323. So that's just one of the little mini-series, I guess, within the Avengers. Now, we've got another Avengers with Beast in it. So this must have been,
Sorry about that.
I guess this was right before he rejoined X-Men, probably. 1991. So that's the Collection Obsession Part 3. And we have the Collection Obsession Part 4. And that's 337. Somehow this is still Part 4, but this is 338. Interesting. Here's the Collection Obsession Part 6. This is the collector, I'm assuming, right? Got another Captain America. This one's an annual. Usually when I specifically search for comics, I try to find them roughly around like when they kind of intersect with X-Men. So if I bought a Captain America, I would try to get one that had the X-Men in it, kind of guest starring, just so I have some kind of frame of reference for my collection. Speaking of X-Men, there's Gambit, number 1. And they made multiple different series of Gambit comics, but I think this is the first series. There's Gambit number 3. Gambit number 4. And then we're back to Wolverine. And this one's number 75. That's the Fatal Attractions one, where they put the hologram on the cover. And it looks like it should be a card, but I don't think it actually comes off. So we'll put that by the other Wolverines in there. And then we have here, another Moon Knight. This one's got Spider-Man and Punisher, but this one is Mark Spector Moon Knight, not the limited series like that other thing was from the Trial of Moon Knight. see. Another Marvel Comics Presents with Wolverine, number 50 this time. So if I can find, where did I put those? Oh, in here. So number 50, 42 and 50. Obviously, it's got Spider-Man, Silver Surfer, a bunch of other heroes in the background too. I don't know what that's all about. Put that there. Here's Ghost Rider from 1990. Yeah, it looks like it. Ghost Rider number 6. So that was when they listed it. Looks like and then we are tapping into, it looks like, the Spider-Man vein. So here's Marvel Tales featuring Spider-Man and Hobgoblin. So that was originally a 1983 comic. They reprinted as Marvel Tales. They used to do that. And then a different Spider-Man comic, The Sensational Spider-Man, number 9. This one looks a little newer. Yep, this is from when Onslaught happened, so mid-90s, I guess we're talking. And now we've got Venom. So the saga of Venom's alien costume begins, it says. This is a Marvel tale again. So I guess it's a reprint of one from 84. Probably be nice to have the original instead of the reprints. If it's the black suit kind of saga. Speaking of the black suit, here is Spider-Man. Oh, it's a collector's item. That's how you know it's not going to be worth any money if they call it a collector's item on the actual comic. But it still might be a good storyline. What do we have here? Spider-Man, looks like Morbius, 1991. So we got a lot of different Spider-Man comics. This is when Spider-Man was really popular. And they just kept making different... Look at this, we got Spider-Man, we got Web of Spider-Man, we got the Sensational Spider-Man, we got Marvel Tales featuring Spider-Man. Just plastering Spider-Man everywhere. That's Web of Spider-Man with Hyperion. Now we got one of these. This one's kind of a weird cover where they have the jail bars separate, it looks like. And that's, I guess, just Spider-Man 57. So I guess that would be in that series. Peter Parker in prison. Alright, so then we have the Amazing Spider-Man, which is kind of the original version. So now we're at Amazing Spider-Man 338, also Marvel 1990. Somehow we ended up with a lot of 1990 in here. Here's the Amazing Spider-Man 350. Spidey vs. Dr. Doom. And these are kind of interesting coming up. It's Amazing Spider-Man 361, Carnage Part 1. So we're getting into a lot of Carnage and Venom kind of stuff from the 90s. And here is Carnage the Conclusion. So we skipped ahead, I guess, maybe a little bit. I guess just by one. And we're jumping over to a Red Skull thing. It's probably like about his parents in the Red Skull from that kind of crossover thing. So that is another, that one's 1992. There's another Amazing Spider-Man. This one's 367. So I guess these are all Amazing Spider-Man, huh? Now we're at 367. 368. So this guy had a little bit of a string of them together, it looks like. Here's 373. Looks like Deadpool and Spider-Man were his big things, from what I can tell. And then just a little spattering of other stuff. There's Amazing Spider-Man Anniversary 375, 1993. Looks like. another Amazing Spider-Man 378. Maximum Carnage. Alright, got then Spider-Man Unlimited. Maximum Carnage begins here. I guess that would be technically before that, but then I'm bringing up the Amazing Spider-Man, I don't know. So they're really going with the Maximum Carnage thing. And what else do we have? Web of Spider-Man. I bet you this guy had the Maximum Carnage video game for Sega, Genesis, or Super Nintendo back then. And we've got, oh man, Maximum Carnage Part 4 of 14. I had no idea there were that many parts to it. I guess so. We've got Venom Lethal Protector. So maybe he's just got a few of the Maximum Carnage issues and then switched over to some other stuff. And then we have a Morbius. They're really splitting off into everybody having their own comic for a while there. Interesting. Let's see if I can make some room here. Oof. And now we've got another one of these holographic kind of covers. This one's Excalibur, the Fatal Attractions thing. We've got some loose comics. X-Force, Weapon X, that's the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine. There's another Wolverine comic, number 89. Wolverine number 83. Wolverine number 87. That one's in a bag. Wolverine, what is that, 92? Wolverine 114. Here's, this one's sticky for some reason. This one's Wolverine number 91. So we're kind of jumping around, it looks like, because here's Wolverine 85, the Phalanx. There's another Wolverine, I guess that's Albert, right? That's 84. I got Wolverine 82. An X-Men Classic. I think I have the original issue of that. The bar fight with Juggernaut. X-Men 276. That's 91. Oh, there we go, another Fatal Attractions. That's the X-Men version of it, though. And what have we got? That's the Gambit versus Sabretooth one, number 33. The Amazing X-Men. That's the Age of Apocalypse thing again. X-Men Chronicles, Age of Apocalypse again. There's another Gambit. This is number 2. And we got Sabretooth, Sins of the Father. And another Sabretooth, Death Hunt. Sabretooth. So these are all the Sabretooth mini-series, I guess. We have another Uncanny X-Men. Hey, another Fatal Attractions. So I guess their marketing ploy worked, and this guy bought a lot of the Fatal Attractions. There's X-Men 19. X-Men number 5. One of the earlier appearances of Omega Red, I guess. X-Men number 2. And that's it. That's everything in the box. So let me know how I did. If I got anything decent. Hopefully I got $100 worth. I guess it's probably worth about $100 because a lot of this I don't think I had yet. So I can fold them into my collection. And someday when I have hundreds and hundreds of hours to read them, and I'll read the entire storyline from all these things.